What up, guys? I basically think the Jibo hit was a sponsored attack. It was perfectly timed. I think there are some conspirators on the inside in Burkina Faso. The particular sect that came to attack that 23rd Battalion. I think when you have Fulanis around you, you are in problem. You are in a very, very deep shit because now some people claim that they are citizens because they are always inhabitants of these places. We have them in Nigeria, we have them in Mali, we have them in Burkina Faso. So the question is, where are the Fulanis from? Now, and when you ask a typical Fulani man that where are you from, he tells you they are the owner of your country. They are going to tell you they own your land. And if you try to ask further questions, they bring out their weapons. They are in Nigeria. They are the only ones that are permitted to carry AK-47 assault rifle. Every other citizen cannot carry this. They move with it with the cows. They tell you that they are local hunters and they're protecting cows. So the situation is so complicated that you can see that the United Nations told the Malian government to probe into the unaliving of civilians. Now they are calling these terrorist civilians because they come from a particular ethnic group that the basic occupation in that group is two. It's either you are a cattle herder or you are a terrorist. I think the third one is that any place they get to, they try to key themselves into the leadership of that place. So they always have key people in position. Like you see, they rehabilitate them. After they've killed a lot of people, they charge them to court. They bail them out. They take them to rehabilitation home. They integrate them back into the society. They give them new jobs. They give them money. They give them clothes. Like they beautify their life. They give them food, and they tell you that these people are already repentant terrorists. That is what happens in Africa. So a lot of people don't understand how deep this shit is. Now, you have the ones that fight for them. Now, you have the ones inside your city that do the surveillance, but they are not the type that they're not the ones that fight. You have them in your government. I think they will have insiders. This particular hits that happen. And the funny thing is, the guys that do their surveillance, you can see Ibrahim Traoré said now they have foreign fighters that come to train them. He talked about their use of drones. That's the new technology.
Let's talk a little bit about security. What is the current security situation in your country and, for that matter, in the region?
Yes, in the region, as you know, the security situation, well, in any case, we are trying to make progress on the battlefields. That's the first thing, because there are several factors that come into play. On the battlefields, there has been progress. If we look from 2023 to today, we have been able to reclaim many areas that we have managed to pacify. However, the enemy is also getting stronger. There are many foreign fighters joining the ranks of the terrorists.
Could you clarify? What exactly are you referring to?
Yes, the terrorists are being reinforced by many the foreign fighters who come from elsewhere, who are not actually. When I look at the case of Burkina, there are many criminals who are in Burkina, but who are not Burkinabe. There are also trainers who come from many countries to teach them a lot of techniques.
But what is their interest?
This isn't terrorism, it's imperialism. Their objective is to keep us in a state of permanent war so that we can't develop and so they can continue to plunder our resources. They have every interest in bringing in specialists in mines to lay various types of mines and specialists in explosives. Today, the terrorists are using drones to fight and everything. So these are professionals from certain countries who come to teach them all of this. All of this is to keep us in a state of insecurity. But we are aware of this. We adapt each time to their methods of operation, and we will continue the fight until we have reclaimed the entire Sahel.
Are there specific countries that are funding these fighters?
All the imperialist countries are funding these fighters. There are many of them. We can't name them all individually. Some are even hidden, ones you wouldn't imagine. But there are many.
There are also those who are not hiding and who declare it openly. I'm talking about the recent scandal involving support for terrorism in Mali. What is your perspective on what actually happened in Mali?
Yes, these unfortunate people have openly declared that they support the terrorists. We have also clearly noticed how, through a number of technologies that the terrorists have acquired, that they come from them. It's unfortunate, it's very unfortunate, but in any case, we are not feeling sorry for ourselves. We have taken stock of the situation. We will adapt to them, we will fight them, and they will not be able to win. That is what matters most to us.
I think the primitive technology they use is to use those particular nomadic Fulanis that move around. They use those guys to surveil, to do the surveillance. Like they know, okay, now everybody's asleep and all of that. Because when we posted this news early in the morning, even if I was very quick to post this news, they actually said it was in the early hours when majority of people were at sleep, so they don't go and ask questions about Fulanese from anybody that lives in this location. They probably move in the day sometimes, but Fulanis move majorly in the night. You wake up, you see cattle litters on the floor and everything. So this heat, in my own opinion, was actually a sponsored it was well orchestrated and planned out. But I think Ibrahim Traoré has equally warned them before. Everything that happened here, Ibrahim Traoré has talked about it. Watch this video.
Here and now, that you will never let yourself be surprised again. We did not pay for combat drones to remain idle. We paid for them so that you can maintain surveillance and inform us if you observe them. They are approaching. If we were to begin utilizing solely observation drones, which are more cost-effective, we desire to visually perceive them and eradicate them. Therefore, refrain from sleeping. In any weather condition, be it rain or shine, they do not sleep. In the rain, one does not sleep. That's why I wanted us to meet today, because the rain has started. The nature is turning green. The foliage has grown significantly, and the climatic conditions, it is not a suitable time for vulnerability. You must remain alert in the precipitation.
A lot of people have been talking about like that's a big number. For me, my own opinion, I feel like this is a time for Burkina Faso troops to learn from this. I feel like there should be heavy military presence in the northern border. I think this is now where the battle should heat up, because you can't afford to allow those people to keep doing this guerrilla attack. I think this is the time for the Burkinabe troops to go terribly offensive. You can't afford to give those people an inch of confidence, because now when they take territories, they stay there. So I believe like this is a time for Burkina Faso to up their game when it comes to surveillance, artillery strikes. Like Burkina Faso should go all in my own opinion. That's just what I think. I think it's time to chase them down to the border, and I think this is the time for Burkina Faso to seek more help from, I think, North Korea, from China. I think this is the time for Burkina Faso to really, really, combined with Malian forces and Nigerian forces. I think they need to fight as one. If they belong to the AES, like they said, I think this is the time for the Burkinabe troop to fight as one, because you can't continue to, because this is an intention of the West to unsettle this government. You can see the way the media propagated the 100 civilians and all of that. I call like so many mainstream medias were just they were spamming that information left to right, to left to right. If you still go to any of the mainstream media now, you probably will still find the news there. But about this recent attack in Jibo, you probably would not find it. Like I scrambled to get this information out again from those people. They want to propagate we know how the West work, right? We know how they work. These guys are the most disgusting set of people I've ever seen in my life. So I know this is a sponsored hit. This is how they want to keep the pressure on Burkina Faso, and with time they want to come in from that perspective and say, oh, now we think you need more help. If you've been getting help from Russia, we think Russia is not doing enough. Now we think you need our help, and that is how they will say they want to send peacekeeping troop and all of that. Before you know, they mess everything up. So I think this is the time for Burkina Faso to put more pressure on them. I think this is the time for them to show no mercy. You don't pick up victim of war in this situation. When you catch a terrorist, you unalive them. There is no point in rehabilitating a terrorist. You send them out. Terrorists don't understand peace. They don't know the meaning of peace. The only thing they understand is violence. So my advice to the Burkinabe troop is like up your game, seek more help if you need help. Go all out against those people and make sure you push them to the border. And if you can succeed in pushing them to the border, they should make sure there is heavy military presence between Burkina Faso and Ivory Coast. I think that is where it has to get to. That would be the tiebreaker. Once they get to the border of Ivory Coast, I think they should overload the border of Ivory Coast with heavy military presence. I think with that, definitely everybody can have peace. But this is where the problem will be. The gunpowder will spill into the other West African countries like Nigeria, like Benin Republic. I think that's where the gunpowder will spill, because most of these terrorists, once they are being chased from either of these West African countries, they already have, there are people in other West African countries. You can't even tell where a Fulani man is. That's the biggest problem. Somebody you can identify to a particular place is better. They are easy to tame. But when somebody, they say the Malian Fulani, the Nigerian Fulani, you have different talk about them. So I feel like this is time for Burkina Faso to strengthen its military the more. If they've done enough, I think nothing is always enough when it comes to taking measures on counter terrorism. I think Burkina Faso needs to do more. The industrialization, the infrastructure. This is just a deliberate move to destabilize the progress, and I feel like they need to make a conscious decision now for the military of Burkina Faso to go severely offensive on this criminal. This is my take on this. But if any of you have better strategies that the Burkinabe troops can employ, into making better success on this, you can give us your opinion in the comment section below. But overall, I believe that Ibrahim Traoré is like the master chess player. I feel like he knows what to do already. He has really talked about this before, but I just think complacency is like human nature sometimes. So I think they will make necessary adjustments, and we will not be hearing this type of news anymore.